gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Peña, the always opinionated Paris Lily, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1264. This is your host, Danny Peña, and also joining me all the way from Switzerland is the one and only Peter Toledo. Pete, what's up?
¿Qué hola, Sere?
See, this is why it's good for us to watch the stream sometimes, live, because we talk stuff that's not on a podcast. We were talking about food for I don't know how many minutes, Latin food especially, you know what I'm saying? So, and the mission that Pete has to go through to find food, Latin food in Switzerland, that was very interesting. So make sure to check out the stream, twitch.tv/Gamertag Radio. Join us. So, Pete, how's everything, man?
No, doing good. Looking forward to today's show, obviously, right? Happy Mother's Day. It's officially, we're live now. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there watching live on Twitch or listening to the podcast this week. Yeah, just getting ready.
Yeah.
This the next month and a half or 2 months. I think I mentioned it last week. The next 2 months is going to start with my business travel. So unfortunately, I probably will not be on the show for the next about a month or two. But on the converse, I will be traveling globally. Trips to
on tour.
Yeah, the world tour, as Paris likes to call it. Dubai, Japan, Canada, New York, and then back. So I'll be gone. I'll be gone for a minute, but I'll be back.
He's not showing off. He's not showing off at all.
Nah, not flexing at all.
Not flexing at all. He's just being really, cool about it, and humble. Yeah. No, but it's cool, man. Yeah, so it's all good. We do have a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of content. Actually, we're going to be talking about Summer Game Fest, of companies that are going to plan to be at the show, or they're going to have something during the week of Summer Game Fest, online and offline and stuff. So we're going to be talking about it. And also, at the end, Pete, Miss Leo predictions. We haven't done that in a long time. Miss Leo predictions. But this time, we're going to talk about Ubisoft, our predictions. What are the stuff that we think is going to happen, and during the show. So a couple of other things. Shout out to everybody that participated in our first Spotify poll. A lot of people voted. It was really, really cool to see people interacting there and also commenting about the most recent episode. We're going to do this again every week. We're going to do this. So make sure to go to Spotify once the episode is live. Make sure to click to the most recent episode, and in there you could interact. There are going to be polls, and also you could also comment on the latest episode. So the first poll that I put up is: are you buying The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom? Pete, very interesting result here, man. Very interesting result. Do you have any guesses? The majority of people responded with this one, or what?
I'm going to say overwhelmingly positive that they will buy it.
Okay.
I am the opposite. I will not be getting it, and I think it's been rather known, right, that I'm not a big Zelda fan. It's just not my cup of tea. We were all laughing about this in the chat the other day, right? We've got a private chat going on Twitter with a bunch of friends from the industry. It's just not my thing. Not to say that people are going to love it and enjoy it. And I've got friends, obviously we've got friends in Discord, we got friends in real life, etc., that are looking out to play for it. Got colleagues at work that come to me all the time. They're like, look, we just picked up yesterday, boom. More power to you. I know, I'm sure it's going to be great. People love it. Unfortunately, it's not for Pete, so I will not be playing it. Good. But I'm looking forward to seeing the reviews. Obviously, we've seen the reviews from all the major publications. Basically a 10, basically the best game of all time, the greatest thing since the Lord Jesus came walking on this earth. And I'm happy to see it, right? We need that positivity in the industry, and I'm glad to see it. I'm happy.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing game, and I'll definitely will talk about it more later on. But so 45.6% said yes, 39.5% said no, And there was a time where the no was beating yes. And it was like the last couple of days, it just went up. And 14.9% said maybe. So the results are yes, won overall, but it was very close. I was like, wow, okay. I was very impressed. And I think it's because it could be different reasons. Maybe people are not fans of Zelda, or they just want to see a new hardware from Nintendo, you know? So who knows? But it was really cool to see that interaction. We're going to do another one. And this time it's a new poll. And make sure to go to Spotify to be part of the poll once the episode is live. So the next poll, and this is the interesting, Pete, and I would love to hear your answer, because I have a reason why I came up with this question. So this poll is, what would you like to see from Nintendo's next-gen console? Would you like to see a Switch 2, right? Similar to the last Switch, right? But more powerful, 4K and all that stuff, right? Or number 2, a brand new console design that has nothing to do with the Switch 2. And I think it's a fair question, because there's been a lot of rumors of like the Switch Pro, Switch 2 and all that stuff. But I've seen people saying, I would like to see something new. So I would like to see this, the answers from our listeners. Pete, what your pick on this one before we go to the next topic?
Like, look, let's call a spade at this point, right? Nintendo ain't gonna change a damn thing. I don't see them doing any brand new console design or anything. And in my personal opinion, I think they're just going to iterate on the current gen. Maybe boost up specs similarly how they did with was it the LED version that they sent out. They're not going to change it. They're not going to change their console designs. We know this, right? Nintendo doesn't dynamically or just change things on a whim just to change things up. They've always stayed static when something succeeds, right? And it's the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I don't see a reason for them to do that. Could they use a potential beef up in processors or RAM speed or whatnot? Absolutely, because that's how technology goes, right? As devices age, and the Switch is 4 years old now?
Way more.
4, 5 years? Is it 5? No.
Way more.
5
or 6 years 6 or 7.
5 or 6, yeah. So, because I'm just going based on when I left for Europe. That's basically how I calendar everything on my world right now. So it's been 2 years since the LED release, or 1.5 years, about 18 months. So it's about time that they beef up the specs and again, this is rumor, speculation, conjecture, but with 1080 becoming more and more common, I don't think we'll see a 4K, but I do see a potential for a 1080 display with improved CPU and RAM to help performance, which opens up the doorway for more games, either from the past catalog or from the newer catalog of games that come out. If we see anything, I would maybe target a date sometime around Gamescom, simply because there's been speculation ever since Nintendo announced that they would actually be at Gamescom this coming year here in Europe. And then there's like, if you go into the deep web, and I don't recommend you do it for those, just let us, the experts, do this. But if you want, there's a rumor mill going around that, there's a reason why Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed to November 14th to allegedly tie in to be like a grand, a large title release to go alongside a new Nintendo Switch. But again, rumor, conjecture, people talking out the side of their neck on the internet, because that's what they like to do there.
Yeah. Well, I'll mention this before we'll go to the next topic. The reason why I think, look, I would love to see something new from Nintendo. And look, there's a lot of companies that have been copying them. Look at ever since the Switch came out, look at the Steam Deck. We're going to talk about the new Asus handheld. Look at all these handhelds that copied from Nintendo. Nintendo's powerful. I don't care what anybody says. The whole thing of like, oh, it's not powerful and everything. They've been selling units. Look at Zelda. I bet you it's going to be Game of the Year. It's been getting amazing reviews. And but I do want to mention that it's going to be a little bit tricky for Nintendo to be again successful like the Switch. Because if you think about it, guys, when the Wii came out, the original Wii. It was a huge success, everything, right? Then the Wii U launches and it was a failure. And the reason was because they had the same similar name and it was very confusing. Like I know people that bought a Wii U game thinking it was going to be compatible with the Wii because it was just very confusing for people that are not like us, that knows about the product, that knows about the consoles. But the average person completely confused about the console, you know? So it's going to be very tricky to see how Nintendo is going to promote this. Like, is it going to be a Switch? Let's say it is considered a Switch 2, but maybe a totally different name, you know, or it could be a totally different console. Who knows? But I would love Nintendo to continue to innovate and do something totally different because once again, I bet you once that system becomes successful, all these gaming companies are going to start copying them. It happens every single time. If you think about it, and we could go even way back from the original Nintendo, every company copied the Select Start from the controller, right? Everybody did that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I just want to say that. Anything else, Pete?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So you say that the Wii to the Nintendo Switch confusion thing, but you had no problem throwing out that Nintendo. You had no problem with that 4 SKU nonsense. You was spewing a while back.
That's different. That's a different conversation, Pete. That's a different conversation because look, every company that released multiple versions of products, they still will consider that as the same product. So for example, PlayStation 4, there's a Slim, there's a PlayStation 4 Pro, there's all these other ones, right? And they still, every time that console sells, PlayStation would say the PlayStation 4 sold this amount of units. So Xbox done it. Nintendo has done it multiple times with the 3DS, the new 3DS, the 2DS, all that stuff. So it happens.
So I have something. I know we don't. I had to throw it out there, right?
I know.
But and I know we don't normally do this, but I saw something pop up in the chat.
Yeah.
One of our viewers just said, "How likely do we think the next Nintendo console will have some form of backwards compatibility with the Switch?"
Oh, that's gonna be rough.
I say absolutely zero, man. Absolutely zero. Nintendo has always shown that they don't care about anything except your dollars coming out of your wallet and into their pocketbooks. So why would they all of a sudden switch gears? You like how I did that? Switch gears. Why would people why do you think Nintendo would leave all that money on the table knowing that everybody already knows that they're just going to spit out money as soon as that next title comes out? Like let's say they do a Switch 2 Pro, version 43, whatever, in November. Everybody's going to come out of pocket. Everybody's going to come out of pocket, whether they beat the titles in their back catalog or not. People are going to come out of their pocket faster than you can say hello. And nobody's going to bat an eye about it. People are just going to come straight out of their pockets. Say, okay, go ahead. Let me go buy the.
People are going to be mad. People are going to be not bad for like the first couple of weeks and then move on.
They're going to be mad, but they're going to be mad as they're flipping bills out of their wallet saying, I don't want to pay all this money, but I'm going to keep paying this money because I want to keep playing these games on the Switch. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And they're going to keep getting the pass for it because it's okay. Because it's Nintendo. They can do whatever they want.
All right, so we're going to move on here. Everyone, head over to Gamertag. Oh, wait, let me stop because Pete loves to cough here, but let me do that again. You okay, Pete? You're good?
Yeah. It's the Nintendo. It's the Nintendo folks, man. They're reaching into the internets and grabbing by the throat.
I think it's the coffee, the Bucelo. All right, so head over to GamertagRadio.com, post your comments and feedback. Listen to our past episodes. You can find us on any podcast app. All you have to do is just search for Gamer. Wow, they're attacking me now, Pete. You can search for Gamertag Radio. We're there. You can find us. Make sure to subscribe, follow us, and also post a review.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
Also, you're on Spotify. Make sure to be part of our panel not panel. Wow, our poll. I'm so out of it today. Yo, what the hell's going on? Our Spotify poll, weekly poll, and also you can post comments there. Now I'm gonna read a couple comments. This is from Jason. Simon also posted on Spotify. Thank you so much for this. He said, "Great episode as always, guys." He said that about the last episode that we had, 1263. Michelle said, "Great episode. Been listening to you guys for over a year now." And the last one, this is from BOD. "You guys are awesome. I've been listening for 5 years. I look forward to your future content." All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Continue with the comments and everything, man. All right. Now, Pete, we have a couple topics here that I'm going to talk about. And I think this is a great way to start the show because we were talking about Diablo 4 and you've been playing it. I originally thought, hey, I think I'm going to not play this beta version of the game. I want to wait for the official version to come out in the next couple of weeks, which is fine. I'm playing Zelda right now, so... but you've been playing it now for like the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything new? Do you notice the difference from? I know this is just they're testing the servers and everything. Was there anything new from compared to the last beta that we got to play?
Absolutely not. I mean, they've and I'm actually wrong when I said absolutely not. There's actually has been changes. So this is essentially what was, and this is my understanding. This is what was released as the going gold for going. Essentially, here's the last push update that goes to publishing prior to the launch. During my time during playing, I think I'm level 16 now currently. Definitely tell that the drops have been nerfed a little bit, right? It's not as quick and easy to get like all the gold pieces. And I'm playing on veteran, not playing on hardcore, just on veteran. And maybe it's just the way the style that I'm playing, but that's the way that I've seen it during this what they're calling the server slam, right? Which is Activision Blizzard's way of basically stress testing the environment, making sure that the upcoming launch is going to be as fault-free as possible. Now, I don't think you'll ever see a truly fault-free launch experience, especially when you're playing a live service game such as Diablo 4. But kudos to them for giving us this much pre-launch content. And I don't want to hear any of that guff about, people keep playing it and it's going to ruin the experience for those. No, it's not. It's because they're being proactive in making sure that they accommodate as many people as humanly possible. I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but they had record numbers for the last alpha or for the last beta period, right? They've had 2 prior. Mm-hmm. So to see that early access beta, which was successful, which yes, there were queues, but that's to be expected with a game as highly anticipated as this, right? You've got, the second early access period was extremely successful, a lot less issues because a lot of those were accommodated for during that week in between testings. And now for us to see it, 3 weeks prior to launch, another opportunity for them to stress the servers because it's an online game. It's going to have, you want to have as much data as possible to understand, is it a region that's specific that maybe they need to ramp up infrastructure on, trying to accommodate or account for as many hardware, variations as possible. We talked about this on the last show. It's good to see. And I do think that they've nerfed the lightning build on Sorceress because that's what I've been playing. I'm playing a Sorc again. But I don't think it's made it that much difficult for gameplay. If anything, it made me trend towards fire, which is great because it's a lot of fun, a lot of area of attack. But other than that, this is allegedly as close as possible or as close to launch as you're going to get without it actually being June 6th. And so, yeah, we got another 3 weeks to go. And I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know there was some new information about this season 1, like the content that is coming out for this, and this is going to come out sometime mid to late July. So again, Blizzard wants to take the players to take their time playing the campaign before the season 1 begins. So I know people are going to be asking P, like, what type of stuff are we going to get to see in the game? It says that each season is going to include a new battle pass containing 27 free tiers, 63 premium tiers, and of course more content and everything like that. Now, they did been mention this is not like in-game content that's going to make you more powerful or anything like that. It's just, just because cosmetics everywhere. So the premium battle pass is going to cost around 1,000 platinum, which is $10 for Blizzard, for those that have the Blizzard app and everything like that. And you could also get the 2,800 platinum, which is $24.99, which includes 20 tier skips and a special cosmetic. So I don't know, P, if you're planning to try the new season every time, if you plan to pay or not, or just use the free content overall. But I'm definitely can't wait to try out the campaign, and we'll see if I could continue with the season and everything like that. So,
well, I think the important thing to stress, because there's been a lot of people complaining about this on the internet, or maybe that's just who I've been watching or listening on YouTube, etc. But these are strictly cosmetics that are getting buffed by, or getting up, giving you the opportunity to get as a part of these battle passes, right? Mm-hmm. There is no in-game bonus or in-game skill benefit out of these other than cosmetics, right? And yeah, fine, you can skip 20 tiers, but it's 20 tiers on the battle pass. It's not like it's going to jump you up from a level 15 to a level, to a level 35 or whatever. No, this is strictly for cosmetic stuff. And yes, you can get XP or gold or obols in the game as part of either of the tiers, because you can get those from the free tiers as smoldering ashes. But none of these are going to impact in-game. So whether you're doing PvE or PvP, or you're doing world raids against Akashka, it's not going to benefit that in any way. It's just going to make you look better. So to those of you that are complaining, and yes, it is a microtransaction, but they're upfront and open about it, and it's not like it's going to impact the game. Again, I know people, the industry is somewhat split from a consumer perspective on microtransactions. And yes, this one does seem to be a little funky, especially because you've got the $70 game, you've got a $20, was it $69.99? You can pay $89.99 to get early access, and then there's like a $99 version that doesn't include the game, but it comes with a bunch of like artworks and things like that. Hell, there's even a $1,000 version that gets you a big ass statue of Lilith. But
who is going to get that?
I don't know, man. Look, I just want the statue. I just want the statue, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
But these are ways to boost up or build revenue so that Activision Blizzard can continue to provide content for the title. It helps offset some of that. I know people see the microtransactions conversation as being a little shady, but if you're a business owner and you're trying to drum up revenue or to drive revenue so that you can continue building content for the game, I don't see an issue. It's kind of like Prime subscriptions or subscriptions on Twitch Prime to help us as content creators, but on a much smaller scale as opposed to this. I don't see the big problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're gonna move on to the next topic, but before that, I just want to say that it's crazy how people are just gonna be complaining about everything online. But I think at the end of the day, vote with your wallet. If you see yourself playing this a lot, nonstop, then more than any other game, hey, pay $10 is $10. It's not, it's up to you. Like for me, there was multiple times where I paid for content, for like season pass for like Fortnite and Apex Legends, because I, at that time, for the past, during that time, for a couple months, I was playing with my wife and friends, and it was been a lot of fun. And now recently I haven't been buying anything because I haven't been playing it. I've been playing other stuff, but But if you feel like it's going to be worth it for you, go for it. I don't see why people should get mad. The thing is, I feel like people are always going to bring this up all the time, and it just gets really tiring after a while. It's good to give you feedback. If there's things that you don't like, that's fine, but every single time there's something about a game, it's like everybody's mad about it. Like right now, people are giving bad reviews, Zelda on the what's the name of that website, the Metacritic site. I don't know why. I don't know, is there's a reason, or is it just people are just haters or hate the game or anything, whatever. But it's just not helping. You know what I'm saying? It's very tiring. That's all. All right. So another topic here, P, and this is a good one because we've been talking about the Nintendo Switch and everything like that. So recently, and I actually watched the live stream. ROG Aces, that's the new handle that's coming out, I believe in June, was announced. There was a lot of new, information about the handheld. People are calling it the Steam Deck killer. I don't know if it's the Steam Deck killer for now. I don't see that yet. But I think this is a pretty good system if you just want to play, Windows games, PC. So, for example, you get the handheld. You could have Steam in there, Epic, all the gaming apps that we have on our PC. You could play that on the device, on the go. And I'm very curious to hear more about this. But Pete, I know you, especially Paris too, because Paris has been talking about it on online. You guys been doing research and everything. Do you think this is going to be a Steam Deck killer? Do you think this is going to be a pretty good handheld to have if you don't have a Steam Deck? What are your thoughts about the Asus?
Just to correct you, it's the ROG Ally. ROG is
RG.
ROG is their Republic of Gaming.
I know that part.
Section, but it's called the Ally, right? It's a handheld.
The Ally.
My
bad. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I do like that. There's another device for players to have a choice in this ecosystem. Sure. Battery life still looks to be a massive struggle for competitors of the Steam Deck. But for those looking for performance improvement over something like the Steam Deck, Ally looks to be a strong contender. I do have to speak up because as a PC builder and as someone who enjoys the PC gaming landscape, I do have to speak up on Asus's recent challenges with regards to PC hardware. They've been receiving a lot of backlash over the last few weeks with allegations from hardware experts, Gaming Nexus and Der Bauer here in Europe, when they proved that Asus has been essentially screwing over CPU and motherboard owners, and it's not cool. Right. So while other manufacturers have been providing firmware updates to address the situation, Asus kind of went in the opposite direction, and they actually released a BIOS beta fix that invalidates the warranty of people who own it to fix a problem that they have inherently caused and have not provided a solution for. And then it's even gone so far as to delete proof of that. But thankfully, we've seen people like Steve over at Gamers Nexus, who him and his team have been amazing at doing, deep dive explorations as to why things like this are happening. There's a user on Reddit that posted pictures about how his CPU blew out, like actually exploded, and there was a pop. It was purchased by Steve at Gamers Nexus. Him and his team examined it and were even able to replicate the issue on camera. And it's essentially the overvolting protection on Asus motherboards with respect to the X3D CPU. It doesn't capture the voltage being thrown at the CPU, and it essentially just like blocks the alert, and it just keeps allowing volts to come in until it overheats and explodes and pops. So if you're an owner of an Asus AM5 motherboard, and if you have an X3D CPU, be cautious, start investigating if you can. Not all of them are impacted, but it does warrant you being, to be aware of it. And I recommend checking out the Gamers Nexus. And this isn't sponsored or anything. It's just, I'm a fan. I'm a PC gamer at heart. And I want to make sure that our viewers / listeners are informed. So watch their latest video, and he explains the entire thing in a much better, more concise way than I have, or I can. But it is concerning. And like I've even seen, whether it's Jay's 2 cents and other creators on YouTube have like outright said, we're not even going to work with Asus anymore, and have just like, that's it, we're done. Even though, and I mean, Linus even said the same thing on Linus Tech Tips. He even went back and said, we got this unit and we want to give it a good review, but it's being overshadowed by the things that are happening currently with the X3D CPUs and motherboards. So proceed with caution. Just want to make sure that goes out there and that people are aware of it, especially because I even just prior to me building out my last PC, I considered going in the AMD direction, and I was actually looking at the X3D CPU. So I'm, in a sense, it's kind of like, thankfully I didn't go in that direction, but just want to make sure that people are aware of that. And I don't want to take.
I didn't know nothing about this. This is all new to me.
Exactly, and so like you said earlier, unless people are present and aware or paying attention to those specifics, kind of these things, and this is kind of like what Asus was doing, is they're kind of sweeping it under the rug, right? And it's not good at all, right? It's unless people like Gamers Nexus or Gerbauer or Jay's 2 cents or Linus, people who have large followings, unless they are vocal, which they have been, thankfully, and they've actually been to the point of, we're going to refuse working with Asus moving forward, and I'm assuming that's for now until something gets done, corrected about it. You have to rely on transparency from a manufacturer, especially one as large as Asus, right? I've used Asus products in the past. I've never had an issue like this, but it does warrant being mentioned. And, while we don't have the same reach as other content creators like that, I'm hopeful that, you're I think you're using an AMD on your gaming PC, but others are. And so they need to be aware. So that's all I'm going to say. I haven't had a chance to play with the Ally, obviously. It looks cool, but unless Asus makes a massive correction, I'm just going to back out. I don't want to use it.
Okay.
I don't want to support them.
So you don't want to say anything about the handheld then?
I think this is a much larger issue. I know that they need to correct.
So, yeah, of course.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to bring that up because I don't know much about the handheld. I was just asking you, and you brought this up. I had no idea, honestly. This is all new to me. So, but yeah, I think I've been seeing, reviews here and there that it's not a perfect handheld, but people have been enjoying it so far. People that I've seen, but yeah, let's move on. This is a good one, Pete. Summer Game Fest. So it looks like it was announced like how many partners are going to be involved with the event. Because of course that's no E3, but there is Summer Game Fest, and I know Ubisoft is going to have the event. Actually, that's one is going to be after Summer Game Fest, and Xbox is going to have an event a couple of days after Summer Game Fest. So I think like on a Sunday or something like that. That's when they're going to have their showcase where people could watch the regular game showcase and also Starfield. So I'm going to read all the companies that are involved with this year's Summer Game Fest. I went last year. It was a lot smaller because this was like the first one. So Activision, Amazon Games, Bandai Namco, Capcom. I wonder what Capcom is going to do there. CD Projekt Red, Devolver, Digital Extremes, Disney, EA, Epic Games. I'm watching Epic Games. I think I have an idea what it is, but I'm just going to stay quiet. Focus, Gearbox Publishing. There's also Netflix Games is going to be there, Pete. Summer Game Fest, and also Samsung Gaming Hub, Sega. Very curious about Sega. They haven't said anything about what they're planning to do there. PlayStation is going to be there. Razer, Square Enix, Techland, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers Games, and also Xbox. So there's a lot more, but I'm not going to read every single name. But which one from these names that I mentioned, Pete, are the one that stood out to you? You're like, I can't wait to see what they're going to show at Summer Game Fest. Do you have any Any
Well, I mean, I think outside of the major players, right? So like the Activisions, the Bandai Namcos, Capcom, CD Projekt Red, Digital Extremes, Devolver. I think the one that I think you didn't mention was Niantic. Curious to see how they're gonna what they're gonna launch, because they're like the Pokemon, and what was the other one with the beacons?
Inverse. Oh, Pokemon Go.
No, it was like Pokemon Go and Inverse. Those are the two games. Those are two games that they've launched. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I'd say Techland. Yeah. Techland is the other one that I want to see what they're gonna drop.
Yeah, is it a new game? Are we going to see more new content from like Dying Light 2? Like, I don't know what.
And them and Annapurna, because Annapurna always drops those crazy indies that everybody freaks out about. So they've got a really good stable of releases. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna drop.
Yo, I want to see Devolver. I love their indie games, especially during the summer. You know, E3 now, Summer Game Fest. They always have some cool stuff during the shows, and we get to play and everything there. So I'm excited to see that. So, but yeah, that's just want to mention that very quick. I'm excited. We have a lot of things planned. I have a lot of appointments during Summer Game Fest, and also Paris 2 going to be there. Pete can't join us, but hopefully he could join us in the future. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
So I do see that it's odd that the 8th is the Summer Games Fest. The 11th,
yeah, that's the press conference.
11th is the Xbox Game Showcase. We've got Xbox and PlayStation participating in Summer Games Fest, but they're having their own event. So there's nothing announced yet for PlayStation, but rumors are that it's going to be either at the end of May or early June, with a potential to be prior to the Summer Games Fest and Xbox. Which, if this happens, obviously it gives Xbox an opportunity to pivot, because they're going to likely react to whatever Sony does. It's what they've both done for years, so it's no surprise. And then June 12th is supposed to be the Ubisoft Forward event. Even though they've pulled out of E3, and obviously we know E3 has been canceled. So curious to see what Ubisoft is going to do. And I think we talked about we wanted to talk about this coming up. So
can I do it? Can I do it right now? We haven't done this in a while.
Let's do it.
All right, goes. And it's time for Miss Leo prediction.
Hey, darling. This is certified psychic Miss Leo. The guys at Gamertag Radio have pulled me out of retirement to give them some free readings. So I've been using the power of the tarot cards to look into the future, baby. You hear me?
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
There you go. It's been a while. All right. So actually, if you listen to the podcast, you're going to hear Miss Leo, all this stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right. So my prediction for Ubisoft, and I'm very excited to see stuff that's going to be there. You know, most likely we're going to get to see Assassin's Creed. I don't know if it's going to be this year or not, but I think that will be big. Actually, are we finally going to get to see more stuff about Avatar? We only got to see gameplay footage a couple years back, and then it was just quiet. We haven't heard anything about it, and I know Massive been working on this for a very, very, very long time. I know recently, a couple of months back, we got to see and we got to play Heartland. Was it Heartland, Pete? Was it Heartland? Oh my God, the Division stuff.
Yeah, it's Heartland.
Heartland, yeah, and we're probably gonna get to see Division content there, and I'm very curious. Do you think it's the right time, Pete, for Ubisoft to show us anything Star Wars related? Or do you think it's way too early for that?
Look, at the end of the day, with no E3 appearance, and not surprised, considering the financial toll it takes to present a show like that, especially considering everything that's happened with with the recent forecast, stay digital and focus on fixing things, I think, is the biggest priority at this point for E3 and Ubisoft. Almost feels like Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry are the only things helping them tread water. And the major question is that enough for the long term, right? The Division and the Division Heartland has potential. And while X Defiant is fun, is it enough? Right? So yes, you have questions like what's going to happen? What is this new Star Wars game? Where is Splinter Cell? I'm throwing that out there because it's the one thing that's on everybody's lips. Where is Splinter Cell? Where is Beyond Good and Evil? Hell, where is Skull and Bones? You know?
Oh my God, I forgot of Skull and Bones. Holy crap. I totally forgot about it. Yeah, because it also got delayed.
Yeah, and there's not just that. You've got all these recent cancellations as well. You've got Ghost Recon Frontline, you have Splinter Cell VR, you've got Hyperscape, Rainbow Six Patriots that was canceled, even Project Q that I talked about at the beginning of the year, which was an unannounced PvP, like team battle arena type game, canceled because they need to focus on other projects, other priority projects. So, I mean, if we're going to throw out the Miss Leo thing, if Activision Blizzard acquisition doesn't happen with Microsoft, do we see them turn its head? Kind of like the meme, like, oh, look, well, since we can't pick up Activision Blizzard, maybe Ubisoft is in the targets for Microsoft, or does maybe Sony scoop them up? So I think if we're going to throw a Miss Leo out there, I think it's that either Microsoft or Sony targets another acquisition for one of their major stable of developers.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what they're going to show us, man, Ubisoft, because they have a lot of content that hasn't been talked about in years, like you said, Beyond Good and Evil. Like, what the hell happened with that game? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm very, very curious. And yeah, man, like Splinter Cell, we've been talking about this for years, and we haven't seen anything, just little DLC here and there and mobile. And I'm like, no, I want an official Splinter Cell game, official. Please show us something, but the part that I'm very excited about, Pete, I want to see this new Division content that's coming out, new game and everything. Are we going to get to see that? And whatever happened to that Netflix show that they announced years back? It's been crickets once that was announced. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Yeah, that was something that when the Division came out, they said that they were working on that, and we haven't heard nothing about that. So we'll see. I think that's about it for my prediction. Do you have any other predictions from for this Ubisoft press conference? Hopefully next week we will do more predictions.
We'll see. And actually, what you were talking about was there was a Mighty Quest, there was Valiant Hearts, and there was an Assassin's Creed universe that was supposed to be brought into Netflix, a Netflix mobile game. There was also a Stranger Things game that they talked about as well. I remember doing that.
Really?
Yeah. I remember going to the last E3 that I went to. There was an actual Netflix gaming event, and they talked about. They had a couple of people from the Stranger Things there, and they talked about how they were implementing a mobile game. We never saw anything happen of it. So
interesting. I didn't know. Oh, okay. Well, that's new to me. All right. Well, everyone, make sure to post your predictions, your thoughts, social media. You can also go to Discord or go to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or even Spotify. Post your predictions, your thoughts about this episode, everything there, man. And we'll talk about it next week, man. So hopefully we can have more. Here's the thing, and this is the tricky part about doing predictions, because before we used to do it all the time. It is tricky nowadays, especially when you get invited to a lot of events, especially right before the like E3, Summer Game Fest, because we kind of have an idea what might happen, so we don't want to mention it because I don't want to get in trouble or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that's a little tricky. But if it's stuff that we don't know, we're just going to talk about it, So,
right.
So like with Ubisoft, I have no idea what's going on with Ubisoft, so that's why we're talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's some that we kind of might have an idea for other companies are going to be at Summer Game Fest, but it's hard. It's really, really hard and complicated, But I love to have these type of conversations because it's fun. It's fun to do with you guys,
For sure.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to episode 1264. This was a lot of fun recording this. Hopefully Paris could join us next week. And Pete, I hope you're having a great time over there, man. Get that Bustelo. Get that Bustelo once you come to the States, man.
Oh, I will.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah. So everyone, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next time only here on Gamertag Radio. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.